All right. Thank you very much, Kyle. Hello, everyone. I am ZELLOOO or ZELLLOOO, however you want to say it. Never matters to me. What is this giant doohickey behind me, you might ask? Well, this is Pump It Up. This is a dance game made by South Korean company Andamiro back in 1999. And it was basically the rival of Konami's Dance Dance Revolution. Very, very popular game in South Korea and Latin America. So the last time we had Pump It Up in any GDQ events in 2020, the current game at the time was XX to celebrate the 20th anniversary. The current game we'll play today actually is the newest one, Phoenix, which was released last year, 2023, and it received a UI update this year in 2024. And we are actually celebrating 25 years of Pump It Up, which is outstanding. Before we get into the nitty and gritty of what the showcase is going to entail, I have two wonderful commentators if you all want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Haru. I will be one of your commentators. Hopefully, we'll make it very entertaining for y'all.
I don't think it's a hope. I think it's going to be a fact. I'm TUSA. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm very excited to see ZELLOOO play. It's going to be a great time.
Thank you very much, y'all. So this is going to just kind of be a showcase of what is in the game. There's way too much content to be able to go through everything. You would be here for weeks, months. So we've condensed a set into about 1 hour's worth of music. So I'm going to play 10 songs on single in increasing difficulty. And then I'm going to play 9 songs on double, also in increasing difficulty. And we have an incentive for a boss song at the end of that double set. And if you manage to meet that incentive, I will replace the last song with an extra hard song that is in like top 10 difficulty for this entire game. And it'll be worth it, and I will suffer. You want to see that. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I will let Haru and TUSA handle the commentary, and we go from there. We can go ahead and start the timer. So let's pump.
Yeah, let's start. So you see this giant machine we have at home, and this is pretty much the only way you can currently play Pump It Up. You either go to arcade or you get one of these for your home. The gameplay is pretty simple. You stand on the platform, you may hold or may not hold the bar, you look at the screen, you see the shapes, usually arrows, going from the bottom of the screen to the top. And when they reach a white zone that we call step zone, this is the moment when you have to press one of the panels that is corresponding to the shape you see on the screen. Pretty simple. At least in theory.
Yeah, you could see. Yeah, you saw ZELLOOO go through the S18 difficulty folder. They go up to 26s, but he's just going to jump right into it. And we're going to see a very fun showcase of just kind of a lot of different techniques here.
Yeah, but don't get scared. What you're going to see today is like the high-end level of gameplay. The difficulties start at 1 for singles, and ones are really, really easy. The learning curve in this game is very well structured, so don't be afraid to try this game if you ever see it. Getting into it is really easy, and the game is really fun. There's lots of fun music in this game. And speaking of music, this is one of the original songs composed specifically for this game by in-house team Banya. And ZELLLOOO and us will like this song a lot because the lyrics are really corny. Part of it says...
The lyrics are so awesome.
Yeah, it says Pinky rings the size of Texas, and we're in Texas, so it's like our hymn.
Yeehaw, yeah. Yeah, one thing I do want to say, to kind of like introduce Pump It Up as a game to people who may not be familiar, in terms of like the time commitment or like level of expertise that it kind of goes up to, you can kind of compare it to like learning an instrument or learning a language, right? Like to get up to like maybe the 18s level, I see a lot of players taking maybe like 6 months of dedicated time, like really grinding out sessions, going to the arcade, what have you, to really like learn the basics of the game. You can see there are a lot of twists in this chart, but he already crushed it. But yeah, like 6 months worth of grinding or so just to be able to pass this chart, and he just blows it out of the park with all perfects. So the skill cap goes on even further for, up to decades. People play this game and really just keep expanding on their techniques and their form. Even though there are only just 5 buttons or maybe more that you'll have to be pressing during these charts, there's so much that goes into the technique and the execution of these patterns. It's really, really fascinating. And we're going to see a lot of different types of charts as we go through. it's going to be a really fun set list because it'll really showcase like the different types of technical charts that you'll encounter. So the next one is going to be Fallen Angel S19. We're getting into it now.
Yeah, so as Dylan mentioned, we're gonna go up in difficulty slowly with each song. One other thing Zillow also mentioned is he's gonna play some singles and then some doubles. What does this mean? As you can see, the platform is divided into two sides, left side and right side. What we call singles is when the player is only using 5 panels on one side. You can play, you can play alone. You can play with somebody else against.
Yeah, definitely play with your friends. Drag your friends to the arcade. Get them to play the game too. It'll be a lot more fun to have friends along with you for the ride. I do want to mention the very start of this. Look at that gimmick. And also earlier at the very start of the chart, you could see a moment where he dropped one hand from the bar to do these like sideways staircases. A lot of Pump It Up charting and patterning has this kind of flow state for running, where you kind of like are involved with twisting your waist. You can see a lot of like hip twisting directions to kind of like really snag some of these twists. And it's kind of due to the ergonomics of the pad and the patternings to really make it work. Like, wow, he's killing these diagonal crossovers, backside crossovers, these like wraparounds, these anchors on reds. There are so many techniques that will just sound like a lot of verbose wordage, but there's a lot that goes into something like this.
Yeah, so what we mean by crossover is you have to move your legs from straight line to cross over each other or over your body. Pump It Up uses a lot of movement where you have to cross your leg, cross your body, because the layout is very, very good to have some turning movement, unlike some other dance games.
Nice outro. Very, very nice outro. I believe that was another perfect game. I didn't see any judgments that were a little bit off or anything. Let's see the verdict. There's one great that snuck in.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to see when there is a step in front of hold. The judgment are just going so fast.
Yeah, I'm curious if it was during that gimmick section where it had the taps or it looked like holds, but then they suddenly turn into taps.
Yeah, but
there are definitely step charts in the game that have these sort of like gimmicks where it visually kind of differs from what it initially presents to you on the screen.
Yeah, but those are not taps, those are still holds. They just disappear from screen, but they're still there and you have to actually press them.
Yeah, exactly. Allegro Furioso is certainly a choice of a chart. This S20 is going to be crazy and quite different from the other ones we've seen. I think the others focused a lot of like stream running type of techniques. This one is going to have a lot of brackets where you're hitting 2 panels with 1 foot, and also jacks where you're hitting the same panel repeatedly with the same foot.
Yeah.
You can already see some like brackets here. Right there, right there.
Yeah, we call them jacks because it's like you're doing jackhammer work with your feet.
Yeah, a little jackhammer. Oh wow, he's knocking it out of the park so far.
Yeah, Pump It Up is notorious to have classical remixes and classical sounded music. Previous song was an actual classical remix, and this is just something similar to classical music. And they are both composed by an American composer, D.M. Asher. He's very significant for this game, and he's also a math teacher, so a lot of songs by him have some funny math names.
Let's see these brackets right here. Very, very, very clean. It's very hard to like ankle twist for a lot of those brackets, but ZELLLOO makes quick work out of it and shows that he knows this chart super well.
Yeah, it's really important to...
It is not easy to play that.
It's really important to have clean footwork for games like this, so you can position your feet to press the brackets evenly and not get a miss. And you don't even need to have a bigger foot size for brackets, because with how the pads are nowadays, they're pretty flat.
Nice jack. Oh my gosh. One hand on the bar and just really like throwing his leg into it very solidly. There's another. There's one more part here at the outro to tackle. Here it is. Prepping for it, prepping. Nice. Nice. That was so clean. Oh my gosh.
Mind if I jump in real quick? Yeah,
please.
things are moving along.
Go
We're
ahead.
at $461 towards that Boss Song Showcase. So make sure you're getting those donations in if you want to see us beat a rhythm game boss. We need just over 1,000 more for that. And then we need just over 1,300 more to get that Crypt of the Necro Dancer. But we are doing it with $10 donations from Zaxi, who says, thank you for doing this. GDQ is the best. Let's get the Boss Song Showcase or pump it up. Thank you so much.
What a good song to play in October, very on topic of Halloween theme.
Spooky.
Yep.
I think, this is one of the new releases in Pump It Up Phoenix. So Pump It Up Phoenix came out, like 2 years ago now, almost. 1 year ago? 1.5. But the game is still alive and well. Updates are coming out and charts are being released. This is one of the ones that was released, I want to say, around October last year. So
Yeah, Pump It Up is also notorious to have very fun and cute videos for almost every song. And this video is interesting because it reuses characters from older songs. A lot of people really enjoyed it.
yeah, one thing I want to say about Pump It Up charting really quickly. One of the more common themes in Pump It Up is where the first half of the chart is more kind of like vibing to the song, and then the back half is like really showcase of like really stressful patterning, a lot more like stream heavy, run heavy, and you'll see it in this chart. It's coming up soon. This is kind of like the last moment where ZELLOOO gets to really catch his break and rest a little bit going into the run here.
Hey, they just let you warm up your legs. You need your legs warm to do hard part.
You can see a little bit of double stepping there, also preserving the energy, knowing that the run is coming up very soon.
Yeah, in dance games, you don't always have to follow the idea that chart writer put into the movement. Sometimes you can manipulate the patterns to save the energy, or if it's too fast for you, for example.
Yeah, here's a lot of those like turning twists and those wild staircases makes it to the end. And then here's a little funny note right there.
Yeah,
It's fake.
It's a fake note. You don't have to press it.
There are a lot of like little hidden Easter eggs like that in the charts. But you can see the one miss. I want to say it was on a blue-yellow bracket with right foot. Maybe just didn't turn in quite enough for it, but it's in the middle of a run pattern, so it definitely gets really tricky. Really, really tricky to snag, but really great job on a lot of those like turning, crossover, twisting motions. They're a lot more violent than ZELLOOO makes it look, especially I think for players kind of like at the S21 level, they're still kind of like finding their footing and really like minimizing to like the inner corners of the 5 panels to kind of like really consolidate the motions and make it seem like very, very, I guess, quick and energy preservation. So Napalm S21, once again, we're just flipping the switch of like what kind of techniques and chartings that we're kind of expecting. To this day, I want to say that the official Pump It Up Phoenix leaderboard does not have a perfect game on this chart, and you'll see why very soon. But the answer is that there's two really fast drills that give you a very, very strong run for your money.
Yeah, drill means you have to press 2 arrows repeatedly.
Right here.
Yeah.
He hits the first one. He survives or keeps combo on it. I think I saw 1 grade or so, but
it's really
having the foot speed for those drills is like I do not have, I guess, the wordage to explain how crazy it is to be able to hit.
Yeah,
those
are really hard. Those are what? 30 seconds?
I want to say 30-second notes.
Yeah, and the BPM of the song is what, 185, I believe? 185 BPM. BPM is pretty much the speed of the song, how fast it sounds.
He's getting his rest in here, waving to the camera, showing us that he's alive and well. There's one other drill section that we want to look out for going into the, I guess, kind of stream-heavy end run. But he's still got a little bit of time to vibe with the chart and get ready for it. Here we are.
Got a couple grades and goods, but still keeping the combo.
Yeah, keeping combo on these is the best thing you want to hope for.
Yeah, for some people, the hardest.
He goes for the spin. Is he going to go for the backwards one?
Yes.
Right here?
For some.
Beautiful style points.
For some people, the hardest part of this chart is not even the run, but to keep doing the jacks and jumps at the same time in the middle.
Nice. Ending with style. Very, very classy ending. Zero miss. Zero miss on Napalm S21 is really, really awesome.
Real quick,
Really, really incredible.
I just wanted to check in and give you a little bit of update. I looked away and things are really flying now. We're at 671 out of 1,500. That's almost halfway to that Boss Song Showcase, and we are getting there with donations like this. $15 from John Quilty, who says, give Pump the boost. And we got a $100 anonymous donation, says, gotta donate for Rhythm Block. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. Let's get that Boss Song.
Thank you guys so much. Means a lot. We're going into another premium credit right off the bat. Keep in mind, he's already played like 5 very kind of like could be tiring, very stressful. He makes it look like a walk in the park. But again, around the S21 level, I want to say players have been probably actively playing for a year. But of course, some people go at their own pace, or, you know, maybe arcade availability is a bit far from them, or they're treating it as like a side hobby, etc. Some people getting to this point can take a couple of years, but we're going to see ZELLOOO once again blow it out of the park with Lucid Dream S21.
It's a very cute song. But
I really like this
in
one.
Pump It Up, even such a cute sounding song can have a pretty hard step chart.
Yeah, you can see a lot of like kind of like bracket steps here. A lot of parts where he's once again using one foot to hit 2 arrows at the same time. And it's a good way to kind of like go with the more percussive side of the song. A lot of like brackets here. You see like 3 notes come up on this at the top at the same time. He's having to like choose which foot that he's hitting 2 of the arrows with.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest part about brackets, to learn how to process it as a group of arrows and not just several arrows separately.
Yeah, it's a lot of like muscle memory, a lot of like having your footing, but practice, of course, at the end of the day. It takes time. But yeah, once again, the back half of this chart is going to be a very streamy run heavy. You can see it here. A lot of anchors though, which I really like about this chart, because it gives you this sense of stability while your anchor being like where one foot stays on the same panel while your other's kind of like jostling around, moving around, shuffling. You can see ZELLOOO doing a great job here, maintaining his composure, really utilizing those anchor patterns well.
Nice and chill ending.
Yeah, it has a BPM slowdown at the very end too. Very subtle, but you know, it's good. Very, very nice score. PG on Lucid Dream S21. Excellent, excellent work, ZELLOOO.
Next stage.
Got time for a quick donation?
Yeah.
Sure, here's $100 from JQ Tran, who says, here's to hopefully playing a hard D27. At least it's not a 30 Bimera, D26s in a row.
Oh, man. I'm sure ZELLOOO heard that. He's shaking his head. JQ Tran, thank you so much for tuning in, for the donation as well. Showing support. One of the great things about this, Bedlam S22, this is going to be, once again, very different style of charting. It's going to be very bracket heavy, very rhythm heavy, very technical. There's a lot that goes into this chart. I'm really, really, really excited to see how ZELLOOO does on it. But I also want to say, like, one of the great things about Pump It Up really is the community. A lot of people really do just come together and like support each other. You can imagine for like some competitive scenes, we see people kind of like getting very, very competitive and not sharing their secrets perhaps, or like keeping things to themselves as they're kind of like going through things. But Pump It Up really has a really, really nice community where regardless of your skill level, people are just really encouraging and looking to give feedback and tips and be supportive, whether someone is like much stronger or much weaker of a player than you are. So definitely try to get involved. If you are interested in trying it, I say just do it. As you can see, there are so many different types of charts that you can really go through. This one's going to get pretty crazy pretty soon.
Yeah, so
Jacks into brackets.
usually when the difficulty goes up, it means more arrows, but not in case of this step chart because difficulty here comes from a different place. It's more about reading and doing some weird movement.
Yeah, reading it is part of the challenge, but also it just feels very I guess, kind of stutter stepping to play.
It feels chaotic because it fits the song name.
Yeah, look at that pattern. Like, it has so many of these moments where you're like twisting bracket drill, but it's like kind of masked in this weird like arrow patterning to look like rolling. But because of the way the timing windows work, it actually works smoothly to play it as a bracket drill. But he just knocks it out of the park with 0 miss. Congratulations on the S22 Bedlam. Awesome job, Zelo.
Next stage.
It is such a difficult chart to score well on, I will say.
Yeah, it's even harder to score in Phoenix because accuracy matters a lot now, and this step chart doesn't have too many steps.
Yeah, Pump It Up used to be combo-based scoring, but with the new Phoenix release, accuracy is everything.
Yeah, not only they changed the scoring systems, they also shifted the focus in music slightly, and now they like to add a lot of meme songs and songs coming from BMS contests, like the one we're going to see right now. Moppy Moppy,
Yeah.
Moppy Moppy is very notorious for how weird it is. It starts nice and cute and then it goes into a jump scare. And apparently the song itself was inspired by glitches in games, so it kind of fits. I'm glad they censored the part of background because it's very scary and definitely not family friendly for an arcade game.
This is a good song to play for October, I would say.
Yeah, it's spooky.
Yeah, a quick note, like the S23 territory, I think is where chart patterns start to be a lot more crazy, for lack of a better word. You can see Zelo's opting to save energy here. He goes for one twist, very nice, or one spin. But there are going to be a lot of 200 BPM runs, which you will see at the S22 level as well, but also just a lot of patterns that maybe you want to opt for not full twisting because they get pretty rough.
Yeah.
But we're going into like basically a 200 BPM 16th note run here.
It also doesn't help that the notes are stuttering, like what you see is exactly what's going on the screen. It's making reading much harder than just going straight. Especially this effect when it just condenses and expands constantly.
Yeah, this is the, I guess, hardest part of the chart, of course, right? Like it's basically a run with brackets with crossovers. So there's not really the best way around it. And you have these hold notes that you have to like try and manage and make sure you're not lifting your foot off too high while doing bracket drills. But not a single life bar dip. You can see his life bar at the top. It's that rainbow colored bar. And this entire showcase, I don't think I've seen it drop at all yet because Zelo's a great player. What can I say?
Great job.
Excellent, marvelous game. A double S on an S23 is an excellent score.
Yeah, and Pump It Up life bar may not be as significant for finishing the song because if you play in premium mode, you can continue even if your life bar drops to 0, but your grade will not save if you drop your life bar.
Exactly. Yeah, so I guess a big part of the culture of Pump It Up is going for those stage passes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's shifted to getting harder stuff and getting a life bar pass in Pump It Up compared to other reading games focusing more on accuracy. And Pump It Up adding accuracy on top of stage passing makes the game even harder.
Want to hop in real quick?
Go ahead.
Please,
I've got
go
a
ahead.
$50 donation here from Aaron Sky, who says, let's get some hype to direct relief. Good luck, ZELLOOO. Let's see this boss song absolutely destroyed and get me some Crypt of the Necro Dancer done quick. Bring it on. Let's go, people. We are about $800-something away from unlocking that boss song showcase. Let's make ZELLOOO work for it.
Yes, let's see some very hard stuff from the top end of this game.
Yeah, I feel like we're approaching kind of like the tail end of the single showcase, and we're definitely going to be seeing that here.
Yeah, the higher you go in difficulty, the more techniques you see in the same song at the same time. So you have to be very well versed if you want to play higher levels in Pump It Up.
Yeah, now I will say also one thing, one quote that a friend of mine mentions is that the biggest gimmick of Pump It Up is just stamina. So one of the big things for higher level charting is that you need to have stamina to play the back half. If you expect the back half of the chart to be very hard, you can see ZELLOOO is doing an excellent job here of just kind of like trying to maintain stability, keep his upper body, use the bar well, and prepare for the back half because it's going to be pretty stressful. Here it is now. You can see he's holding with one foot, heel dropping with that same foot, and having to like do these backside, forward side crossovers too, but maintaining a huge combo right now. Gets the bad chains on the last one, but the chart is not going to let up for a long time.
Yeah, and often it's not only physical stamina, it's also brain stamina because you have to do a lot of hard reading and processing.
There it is.
By the way, we just hit $18,000 for direct relief. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Everyone was inspired by watching ZELLOOO.
ZELLOOO, you're inspiring the masses.
Further S24. A 997 combo on this is mad impressive. Mad impressive. Excellent work.
That's a very, very good score on this kind of difficulty.
Next stage.
Absolutely.
And now we're gonna go even one level higher.
It's just I cannot explain the time commitment gaps between each level of progression that we're seeing, and ZELLOOO's just blowing them all out of the park.
Yeah, so singles in this game only go up to 26, while doubles go up to 28. So 25 is just one level below the hardest single in the game.
Yeah, but Ultimatum as a chart is definitely considered one of the boss charts.
There's a lot, and it's a very fast song. It's 200 BPM. And a lot of run and a lot of brackets. Pretty much what you would expect from a 25.
Real quick, I just want to remind everybody we have $1,000 left to go for that Crypt of the Necro Dancer bonus game, and we have just under $800 for the boss song showcase. Everything you donate and put towards that also goes to the Crypt of the Necro Dancer thing. So go ahead, get your donations in, double your money, double your incentive unlocks. Let's go.
Yeah, I want to have a lot to say for this chart, but I think you guys should really just appreciate the absurdity of how much running that there is going to be throughout the entirety of this chart.
And also enjoy the song because it's a great song.
This is going to be his last rest for a very long while. So he's got to savor it while he still can, because there's going to be a lot of 200 BPM running coming up.
Let's send ZELLOOO some energy. He needs it here.
Absolutely. Starts with straightforward, non-twisty running. Then it goes into these very twisty patterns. Nice staircase manips. Brackety runs. That life bar is intact. But there's still one more hurdle here.
Yeah, that was very solid end of the big run.
That part is so tricky and jump heavy, but he survived.
Did not drop
Made
survive
it through
bar.
to the end.
Yay.
Huge applause to ZELLOOO for making it through to the end of that with a 948,854.
Ooh.
That is an up score.
Yeah,
That is
if you see
a wonderful up score.
if you see that small number underneath the score, it means you upscored, improved your personal best.
Yeah, I'm checking the leaderboard right now. It looks like he was 100th place on the top or the worldwide leaderboard for this chart, and that puts him up to 75th place
Ooh.
for this chart.
That's some jump.
That's a huge jump.
Yeah, what I like about Pump It Up charts in particular, sometimes they take the idea and start growing on it and make it using the same idea but making it harder, like we've seen in this step chart. First it's straight runs, then you add brackets, then you add turns, then you add holds where you have to break it and run. Very nice development.
So here's where we make a very hard turn, as if you thought everything up to this point was already hard enough. Now we're getting to what Pump makes really special, playing double. And this is really where the meat of competitive gaming for Pump is, and it's probably the most fun thing you'll ever do in a rhythm game if you really give it time.
Yeah, we saw 5 arrows, and now we're going to see more. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you doing competitive Pump It Up, you have to be good in both singles and doubles, because in tournaments it's usually mixed.
Yeah, the competitive scene is really interesting for Pump, but yeah, doubles definitely becomes a priority. I think a lot of sort of like the beginner-friendly, intermediate-friendly, advanced-friendly tournaments allow or kind of like prioritize the singles for, I guess, more time consideration and accommodating more players. And also, you know, people start the game with 5 arrows. It's a little bit easier and you get to play with your friends more. And then, yeah, definitely towards like the high advanced and expert ends of tournament play and master end of tournament play, you definitely see a lot more doubles. And that's a more exciting experience perhaps for some audiences, because you have to sometimes fling around the pad really quickly. But we're going to be starting with up and up D18.
Yeah, there's just more doubles in the higher difficulty than singles. That's why doubles become so prevalent.
Right. I think it's kind of, you could see an Ultimatum S25, right?
Yeah.
It looks, it becomes so dense. There's so many notes on the screen. And if you want to sustain that level of notes per second, like there are only so many sorts of patterns you can do without it becoming just like kind of just you're throwing your legs at it as fast as possible. And I think, you know, doubles has a little bit more avenues for exploring high-level charting. You can kind of like touch a little bit more on maybe like some throwing yourself across the pad ideas, like how you twist.
Yeah.
You can see like this chart especially, you know, you kind of start being centered in the middle, and then sometimes you kind of like lean over to the left, lean over to the right. Definitely a good kind of like introduction to seeing how doubles charting kind of is. They're not going to give you something really crazy where you're playing on both sides of the pad, very stretched out and far. Usually is the key word. They'll try to keep you a little bit more consolidated so that the runs make sense. The charting is kind of nice. Your legs are relatively close to each other, and it flows nicely. That's one of the beautiful parts about doubles.
Yeah, so we dropped in difficulty a bit because A, ZELLLOO needs some break, and B, it's better to showcase doubles same way we did singles, going up in difficulty. And one interesting...
Been going strong this time.
Yeah, another perfect
That's on the
game.
perfect game.
One interesting fact about the song we've just seen, it's composed by a Pump It Up player, and the character in the background is also designed by a Pump It Up player. And they were used to run the content creation contests, so anyone could submit their song or their art, and if you win, you will be featured in game. I think that was awesome.
I just want to jump in and let you know we are now over 60% of the way to that Boss Song Showcase. We need just under $600 more to get there. We need just over $700 to get to the bonus game. Keep those donations coming. Send ZELLOOO your love. We had $10 come in from Satan herself, who says, "Let's go, ZELLOOO! I want to see more of this game," and I'm sure chat just does too. Donation train for what songs you want to see mapped in this style. I'd like to see some Sonic Colors DS songs mapped.
Nice. Thank you so much for the donations. We're getting into this D20 now. So jumping up from up and up D18 to now this D20. I think one thing you'll see for this is that it has a lot more kind of like lateral movements. I was kind of mentioning how in up and up, it kind of keeps you a bit stable, relaxed, and you can kind of like flow from one side to the other. I think towards the end of this chart, you'll see a bit more kind of like having to use your upper body to kind of like harness the movement for going from one pad to the other. So definitely look forward to that towards the end.
Yeah, runs and up were way more condensed, and this one gonna have more faster movement and get closer to what we call flying, when you have to move from one side to another real fast.
Yeah, I think it also has a little bit more like kind of like outside twists. So it's still this idea where you're crossing over, one leg is going over the other. But when you have to play it in doubles, you can see like your left leg, or sorry, whatever foot has to cross over, has to reach so much farther sometimes.
Yeah, reaching to the farther end of the pad can be a bit tricky if you are not very tall. Gonna learn to adjust.
Nice
Sometimes players I know just move to one bar if there is a heavy movement on one side.
Yeah, adjusting bar grip can be tricky. Here comes the run. Look at these yanks.
Yeah, just look at how fast ZELLOOO is moving from one side to the other.
Very twisty middle section also going into this outro. Nice job.
Great ending.
One of the big things I think about doubles play as well is also like, again, the hip twisting motion I think matters even more. It seems to matter even more in doubles and come into play, because reaching for some of those outside panels can be really tricky if you're not really using as much. It becomes much more, I think, of a full body experience.
Yeah, when you play doubles, it's very different body positioning and how much how you use the bar and how low you go with your body, because you need to be way more mobile than when you play singles and you just pretty much stay in place. So that's why a lot of players who start with singles have problems transitioning to doubles. They need to relearn how to use the bar.
Yeah, but I think one of the nice things is how there are differences and things you have to adapt to going from one type of like singles versus doubles, but they also carry over to some extent. Like you'll maybe be stuck on singles difficulty, you try out doubles to compensate, and then you learn a lot, and then you go back to singles, you're like, wow, I actually can hip twist in these ways, or like use my arms a bit better to really set up for this. And you know, they're mutually beneficial for each other. So just the more you play different types and avenues of the game and enjoy it, there's so much content out there.
Also, don't get worried. What you see,
you can see this chart. Just to dive back into it real quick, tells a Pumpnia D21. It's got a nice pixely background, and the frames per second that the notes kind of scroll by kind of like matches with it really nicely.
Yeah, what you see is exactly what's going on the screen. This chart is very stuttering, so don't get worried about it.
One of the things I think technically about this chart I want to point out, you can see singles kind of style burst running. And then it's going to go into a section that has like these kind of like double steps sort of patterns where you have a hold note and you have to kind of like tap two notes with your other foot while you're holding. Right here.
I got the words that we have.
So it can definitely be a little bit tricky to read, tricky to find the right footing, but ZELLOOO making very quick work of it.
I got the words that we may have some donation to be read.
Very solid.
Oh yeah, you've got a lot of love coming in here, including $100 from Roxu, who says hello from Santiago. Let's get this boss song incentive done.
You can see in doubles also, there are a lot more opportunities for playing 4 notes at the same time. So like both of your feet are stepping on 2 arrows at the same time. But for a player at ZELLOOO's caliber, these sort of like techniques and patterns, that muscle memory is very clearly there. Nice little outro here. Look at these stretchies. A nice little quad hold to finish it off. You can see very clearly here, hitting 4 arrows with just 2 feet. Perfect game too. Very, very, very impressive. Excellent work. I want to say, one thing I guess we haven't touched on yet is the fact that a big thing, I think early on, that people try to suggest for form advice is using your heels and your toes to kind of like really take advantage of the fact that you're playing on the inner corners. You want to like minimize your movement as much as possible to really preserve stamina and be quick. But it comes into play very strongly for brackets, right? Because your toes are hitting one panel, your heels are hitting the other. So definitely think about technique.
An update for you. We're at 9:66 on the way towards that Boss Song Showcase. Folks, we only have about 20 minutes, maybe even less, to get that met. So if you want to put ZELLOOO through their paces, make sure you get those donations in. Just like this $50 from Spinda that came in, says, thrilled for the rhythm block. Hello from the Waka community. Hello, and thank you for that donation.
Yes, keep those donations coming. Let's see ZELLOOO playing one of the hardest steps in this game.
I really love this chart. It's very technical, has twisty runs and brackets, but dubstep and heel drops go together so nicely. They're so satisfying to play. But heel drop being where your toes are holding on to a hold note and then your heel has to like tap, like kind of in repetition for various patterns. We'll try to call it out when it happens.
Yeah, this step chart is a good showcase of how much more freedom doubles give, especially in brackets patterning, because there is way more combinations to do brackets than in singles.
You can see those heel drops there.
Yeah, I can't believe this is the first song by Musical Ghost in any commercial music game. This is like an awesome song. To start with something so good, it's like a giant success for the composer.
Look at these drills with like bracket transitions and then a bracket drill going into here. Twisty center 6 run. A little bit of outer transitions. You can see a lot of like hip turning. Nice staircases. More heel drops. And then a couple of jacks just to kind of throw you off the end.
Awesome job, ZELLOOO. We are now just over $400 away from that Boss Song Showcase. Keep it coming. We have 590 left towards Crypto the Nacra Dancer. Come on, everybody. Let's get these met. We had a $25 donation from A to Z who says, ZELLOOO is so cool. I want to meet him in real life. Keep pumping it up for disaster relief. Thank you so much for that donation.
Level 22, level 23.
How many songs do we have left until that Boss Showcase needs to be met, by the way?
1, 2, 3, 4 more
Yeah, 4.
charts, I want to say.
Okay. That's the challenge, chat. 4 songs left, just over $400 to do it. Can we make it happen for Direct Relief? Let's do it. Let's really make ZELLOOO suffer. You're doing so awesome, ZELLOOO. We're trying to get it met for you, bud.
This song is very, very fresh. It was added just in the last update, and it's a remix of all the original song, just Star Dream. But what's interesting about this one is the layout of composers and arrangers. Max, one of the original composers for Pump It Up, is known for his Eurobeat stuff. And the vocals are done by Dave Rogers, who is a legend in Eurobeat world. We were very excited for this song.
I really love the charting of this one because it flows super nicely. It follows a very similar idea where there are a lot of these sort of like bursts of twisty running, but you can kind of be relaxed and play it stable if your form is very nice, like right here as well. You can see ZELLOOO staying very relaxed even though the notes are coming up, flying very fast towards the top.
Yeah, this is the rest part. It's gonna get worse.
Yeah, especially I think the outro is definitely the most volatile part of this chart. It really kind of like flings you over to the player 1 or left side of the pads and then very quickly shoots you back over to player 2. So I'm really curious to see how ZELLLOOO performs on it.
Yeah, we like to joke that this chart is pretty much drifting associated with Initial Z and Eurobeat.
Yeah, his feet are just gliding across the pad. You can see a lot of the control in his steps, and it really takes time to cultivate that sort of level of precision and timing and just overall stability.
Yeah, this kind of chart is
nice.
What ZELLOOO's particularly good at, moving really fast at mid-range BPMs.
It's definitely picking up now. You can see a lot of like these outer twists, a lot of random jacks kind of interlaced, but they go so nicely with the chart. Approaching the tail end here. Wow, nice. He really snaps so quickly from P1 to P2, or sorry, from the left side of the pads to the right. It's maintains such really good composure with just one great on a D23.
That's a full combo. Excellent. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is really awesome.
Amazing update after that amazing song. We're at $1,101. Keep it going, chat. We're moving. We're getting there with the help of a donation like this. $25 from Moonblaze Wolf says, more Pump It Up Phoenix, more rhythm games, more GDQ. We can do it. We can do it.
Let's see more hard stuff. Let's do it, chat. Also, friendly reminder, if you play physical active games like this, don't forget to hydrate like ZELLOOO's doing right now.
Yes, please hydrate. Make sure to take care of yourself. But most, of course, be safe. And second, most importantly, have fun.
Yeah, this is what's important in-game, and just have fun.
We're going to see another D23. But it's going to be quite, I guess, different sort of skill set. The last one was very run heavy, twist heavy, a lot of turning, a lot of like stable runnings. But Pop Sequence D23 is definitely more on the technical side. Technical usually implies a bit more like rhythm centric focused, or a lot of like brackets, again, where you're hitting 2 notes at the same time with 1 foot. You could be like a really good running player, but then maybe these technical charts can give you a run for your money.
Yeah, it may look not too hard because there's not too many steps, but it's deceptively tiring when you try to actually play this song because jumping is not easy.
Only 249 left towards that boss song. Keep it going.
You see there's a lot more sort of like hopping motions in this chart and a lot more brackets. So especially if you don't have that sort of comfortability with brackets, reading and or executing them, a lot of these moments can be kind of like pitfalls, and it can feel like a lot more volatile of a chart.
Yeah, this is one hell of a reading test. So many brackets.
Yeah, I think another choice too is like, do you bracket for some of these, or do you just play it with 2 feet. So some of that ambiguity can also make it a bit tricky to really decide. So if you need to make sure you have a game plan as soon as the notes pop up on the screen.
Some things in Pump It Up require a lot of studying and are not very sight read friendly. So sight read is when you just first time see the steps and just jump ahead. And this is definitely not a very sight read step chart.
That outro is brutal, but excellent work finishing it off.
We are at only 119 left to go to get that boss song showcase. Come on, let's close it out, chat. We can do it.
So close. The clock is
And
ticking.
it's another personal best, at least on Phoenix.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah. We have just 2 more songs before we're approaching our boss song.
Level 20.
And here's hoping we unlock it. We're getting a lot of love with like this $100 donation from Anonymous that says, okay, another $100 to put ZELLOOO through his paces. Come on, chat. Let's get this. Come on, we're closing in so close.
Let's do it.
And that means we're also only $285 away from unlocking Crypto the Necro Dancer because of that double dip, double bonus donation time that we are in right now. Keep it up, chat. Let's do it. ZELLOOO, I think they're coming for you.
Yeah, and if you think what you're seeing right now is impossible, let me tell you, coding Crypto of the Necrodancer is the one being impossible as a person who plays both games. And we really
Crypto the
love seeing
Necrodancer is
Spooty doing Coda.
very brutal game. I'd be very excited to see it. But jumping back in again, now that we saw a very technical bracket heavy, bracket run, hop heavy chart, we're going to go into Vector D24. So we're creeping along the levels again, bumping it up from 23 to 24. This one definitely is a bit more run-centric focused. More along the lines of Star Dream, which we saw 2 songs ago. But it has its moment of like kind of like technical patterns as well. A lot of like interesting ideas explored in this chart.
Yeah, it also got some jumps. As I said, the higher in difficulty you get, the more techniques you getting cramped in the same step chart.
Yeah, I think towards the D24 level, you can start to expect a couple brief more instances where you're doing a very fast kind of run, and then you have to like suddenly yank yourself over to kind of like hit something on the other side of the pad.
Yeah, like this jump section right here.
Just under $70 to go. $44.
It might be happening. I think it's happening.
It's happening. Let's make it happen. Here we get some more brackets. Yeah, this step chart got a little bit of everything pretty much.
Yeah,
Very
this is
good.
it's your kind
Very
of
good
rest
skill
section.
test.
Yep, here comes the run.
At least this one is not 200 BPM, so the run is a bit slower.
Those backside crossovers getting a little bit tricky. There's going to be some turning patterns here. You can see his hips twisting quite a lot as he's having to also use his upper body to throw himself around the pad. Kind of technical section here as a little break before another run that's coming up. But it's very tricky to time, you can see.
Yeah, you say break, but to our viewers, it's probably still a lot of work.
Incredibly strenuous. Closing it out. Let's see this bracket here. Nice. There's a really, really interesting pattern right at the end there, where your right foot has to kind of like bracket and sweep across from player 1 side to player 2 side, or left to right side of the pads. Very, very cool pattern. But a 983.
Yeah, this is a very, very good score for level 24.
Next stage.
Only a few misses and just a handful of grades.
We have only $34 remaining to meet this boss song showcase. We are heading into the last level. We've got to get it met. Helping us get this far has been $25 from Gabby, who just says, let's get that boss song. Let's do it, chat. We can do it. we all can make this happen, and we can make ZELLOOO do this after this amazing showcase he's already put on. He has to do it after all of this. And we met it.
So close.
We met it. We got it. Good job, everybody. Congratulations. We're going to do that boss song. Well done, everyone.
Congratulations to us.
Snaps and claps for Chad, everybody watching along. Thank you so much for your contributions.
My
I'm
heart
sure
says
ZELLOOO is very
yay.
grateful.
Like my heart says yay, my body says no.
You got this, ZELLOOO. Keep going.
You got
Just
this.
2 more songs.
The craziest thing to me is right before he's doing this boss showcase, he has to accomplish a Imperium D25, which I definitely want to put as the harder end of the D25 folder because of how physically exhausting it is and how many different techniques again are crammed in here. You might say, oh, for a D25, it's kind of considered medium, slower side BPM, but you can already see there's so many dense brackets. It's easy to kind of like get a little bit locked up. You saw a couple of bads there from just like this jack chaining of patterns. And then this section here, you're still at the very beginning of the song, but you have to like maintain such good composure to really bracket nicely throughout this entire section. This isn't even like considered, I guess, the highlight of the chart, but it definitely can trip you up and end your run early if you're trying to go for a pass on this.
Yeah, if you get off just a bit, you risk on bad chain or good chain, which is gonna affect not only your score but also your life bar, and you want a lot of life bar to finish the song.
Yeah, look at those staircases. It definitely starts to hit that kind of region where you're like, if I want to save energy, maybe I just kind of like bracket a bit to make the staircase a bit easier. A little bit of a slowdown gimmick. This is technically a rest section, but it can definitely be tricky to read.
Yeah, ZELLOOO's saving some energy by just manipulating patterns and not doing the turns.
Yeah. Getting life bar back during this section here. Nice job. But this is going to be one of the highlights. A lot of like quad, or like I guess bracket kind of like motions where you're hip twisting so like basically sideways. You can see it on the stream.
Yeah, ZELLLOO has not only to move but also turn his body to hit those brackets, because brackets on the 2 up red arrows in the middle, they're not easy.
Yeah, once again, I cannot emphasize enough how tricky it is to be able to like coordinate the entirety of that motion and have like the upper body stability to really make it work. Because it's not just your feet at this point, it's your arms, it's your shoulders, it's your core, your legs, your hip twisting direction. Nice job closing it out. You can see that was rough. He is beat, but we're gonna make him work a little bit harder.
Amazing work, ZELLOOO. And I have some amazing news. Following hot on the heels of meeting that boss song showcase, we just unlocked the bonus game, Crypta the Necro Dancer, Coda All Zones. Great job.
Snaps and claps.
$19,000 raised for Direct Relief. Thank you all so much.
Yay, we are gonna see Spooty playing.
Well,
Right up.
While ZELLOOO's taking a little break, I have a donation that has a bit of a question that y'all could maybe talk about your community a bit here. We had a $100 donation from Anonymous who asks, where can I go to play this game?
Ooh, yeah, that's the question, I guess. It depends.
That's a good question.
Depends largely on where you're located. If you're within the US, I want to say a lot of round 1 arcades have a really good selection of Asian rhythm games. A lot of arcade chains kind of have it. There's a
lot of chain arcades like Main Event and Dave & Buster's, but also small local arcades may have this game even more often, especially if there is community.
Alrighty, y'all. Well, I just want to pop in and say thank you very much for making this incentive happen. So we need to talk a little bit about the different types of songs. So we've been playing all arcade-length songs that cost a normal amount of life to play on your credit. We also have very special different kinds of other songs, remixes, fulls, and shortcuts that use different amounts of life and are different lengths. And the remix I'm about to play, it was basically one of the boss charts of the last game of Double X. And we're just going to tackle that right now. And I'm just going to just try and survive as long as I can because I have not passed. I'm just going to do my best to survive.
Level 16. Level 21. Difficulty zone
Yeah, we're definitely approaching the very, very tippy top end of the charts that cater towards under 100 players in the game who are having a chance at like even clearing this, kind of being within range to clear this. A bit of a, I guess, background about this chart also. In terms of the official Phoenix leaderboard, their website has posted 27 clears on this chart within Pump It Up Phoenix's lifespan. So only 27 people in the world in Pump It Up Phoenix have passed this chart. And that's what we have decided to put ZELLOOO through. So please show your love, show your support. There's going to be a lot happening in this chart.
That says a lot considering there are tens of thousands of players for this game in the whole world. Yeah, another interesting thing about this remix is what we don't often see in the remix category, a background. Just as a song is a mix of several songs composed by the same composer Doin, the background is pretty much a mashup of the backgrounds for those songs. And we really appreciate the work.
Absolutely. You can see kind of like, just like with Arcade Link's songs, remixes being a little bit longer also have this sort of game that you're playing within the game where you're like, which parts should I be trying to save energy on? Which parts should I really be going all out on? And you can kind of see at the start here, there are definitely these run patterns that will knock a little bit of stamina out of you, but you can try to maintain your composure and stability there to just make it through alive.
Yeah, for level 27, this beginning is relatively tame, and I know it does not say much because you still see lots of arrows on the screen, but trust me, it can be way harder.
Here comes a hard run here. Starts stable, but gets increasingly more twisty. Nice pattern manips by ZELLOOO. Opting to not turn all of it, but really just kind of like saving the life bar by trying to bracket some of the patterns, avoiding some of the really violent twists. Still alive.
Lots of visual gimmicks to throw player off.
Yeah, this part's really tricky because the rhythm kind of like picks up and is a little bit wonky, and then you have these hold notes that you have to try to decipher as you're also bracketing and twisting around and throwing your weight around. Still alive.
Picking up a bit of life bar on those holds and more harder parts gonna come.
Yeah, one of the other, I guess, concepts that we haven't really touched on for high-level play is the concept of overflow, where even though your life bar is visually full, there's still some extra life bar padded onto it. Especially at the high level, it's more. So maintaining really good combo going into a very hard section of the chart is really crucial for high-level play if you're going for a pass.
Yeah, you want to get as many perfects as you can in all the rest sections to keep your life bar as high as possible. Because once you start getting misses, it's just gonna spiral here from there.
He's hanging on.
Still keeping it up, keep going.
The outro is so brutal. So brutal, but making it through those anchor blue brackets, such a nail-biter ending. 1, 2, 3 greats and a AA score. And you can see this is the first gray letter score indicating that the life bar did drop to 0.
That variant is pretty much what makes this step chart at 27. That's so many arrows.
Yeah, huge applause to ZELLOOO for having to play for the entire hour. Excellent showcase of, I want to say, like 20 different charts.
Thank you for a wonderful showcase, ZELLLOOO.
Huge snaps and claps.
So I got a few words. A, I'm very tired after all that. I hope you all enjoyed me suffering. This game is awesome. I love it to death. I have a couple big shout outs. First one is to Andamiro Korea for making this amazing game. Because this game, it does not do well financially for Andamiro, but they still supported. The devs really are passionate about putting out a great game that's very accessible. Because unlike a lot of other music games, you don't need any kind of like company-specific server. Like this game, You can pick up a cabinet, you can pick up an official upgrade kit, you can play it at home like I am, or you can go to any mom and pop arcade. It's great. So big shout outs to Animera Korea. Also, other big shout outs, speaking of them, big shout outs to our wonderful friends in the Pump It Up community at Big One, a big international community tournament that's happening right now. It's not an official Animera event, but it is recognized by them. And if you go and play Phoenix in the next few days or so, you will still see the promo video for the tournament in game. So it's really fantastic. This game is just a lot of love, a lot of fun. And it's just, you can play this game however you want. You can take it as far as you want. Just have fun. Anything else you all want to say before we sign off?
I guess on my end, I hope we made it interesting for you guys. ZELLOOO, I think, did a lot of the heavy lifting for that already, but it's been such a pleasure to be here. I had a lot of fun watching, a lot of fun commentating.
Thank you for everyone's support. This is a very important cause right now, and I hope we can help people in need.
Yes, thank you so much for your donations. Absolutely.
Yes, thank you all. If you want more special music games or other speed runs, you can follow me at twitch.tv/ZELLOOO, 3 L's and 3 O's. But with that, I have to get ready for work. So thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for Crypto the Necrodancer coming up. You don't want to miss that with Spoody. See y'all later.